I read a book called The Dip from Seth Godin, and I want to tell you how it's helped me in my running and what things I've learned from it and how I'm going to proceed in the future to keep training for my ultramarathon and any other race that I decide to run. So this book is actually quite profound, and I've read it a number of years ago and I've reread it. And well, I should say I've listened to the audiobook because that's kind of my deal. That's what I do. And so I've taken notes and I've got them here. So I'm going to refer to the things that I've written down to make sure that I convey this in a way that I think you can understand. Because I think it's important, specifically when we're trying to run slow and we don't see results, or we hit plateaus, or we just kind of lose our motivation and consistency. And this book helps explain why that's happened. So the first thing I would say is winners quit fast and often. And what I mean by that is the key to success is quitting strategically, knowing when to give up on things when they're not going to lead to success. Winners also quit, I'm actually going to read this, what I wrote down. Winners quit dead-end pursuits early to focus their energy on areas where they can excel. Let that sink in for a second. Point number 2 is called the dip. The dip is a long stretch between something and mastering it. And this is where people give up. The dip is a natural part of success. It's the resistance that you face before achieving significant results. The dip also weeds out the mediocre and rewards those who push through. Now, this one here I thought was pretty cool. So I called it the cul-de-sac dead end. And a cul-de-sac is a path that leads nowhere, no matter how much effort you put in. Staying in the cul-de-sac drains energy and resources without any payoff. Learn to identify these situations and quit them early. Now the next one is the cliff. The cliff is a path that feels rewarding at first, but ends in a sharp, sudden drop. Now these can include addictive behaviors or unsustainable running practices that often follow a pattern. Recognizing a cliff early allows you to quit before disaster strikes. Now, when to quit and when to stick. Stick with something if you're facing the dip, the challenge but worthwhile path. If you're in a cul-de-sac or heading off of a cliff, and ask yourself, am I willing to put in the effort required to reach the other side of the dip? If not, quitting is a smart move. Embracing scarcity. Now the dip creates scarcity, which makes success more valuable. Scarcity drives demand. Being one of the few who survive the dip makes you stand out. And quitting as a strategy. Quitting is not failure, it's a tool to redirect your energy towards better opportunities. The most successful people quit strategically to free up time, resources for what truly matter. If I wanted to put the dip in a way that can be understood, there's like these three things that I would say, okay? And basically the dip is the struggle zone. It's the spot where you're like, you know, I don't actually know if I can keep doing this because you're not getting results that you want to see. Like, you know, week after week, maybe you're not improving as fast as you want, or maybe you're just not improving at all. And that is when you know that you're in the dip. The dip is hard. The dip is a place that most people just quit before they come out of it. I mean, when you come out of that dip, things just totally open up. I know, because I've been there with my running. I've seen what happens when you're stuck there. And like I said, the cul-de-sac, it's the dead end. It is a place where you don't want to be. I mean, no matter how hard you work, no matter what, there's nothing improves. And staying there is literally a waste of time, because if you're not seeing results and you just seem to be going around in circles, it's time to get out. Like, it's a dead end. And the cliff is that sudden drop off. That is when, you know, you're so super excited and you're like pushing forward and it's so addictive. But then literally you crash because you can't sustain it. It literally just drops right off and you lose all your motivation. right? It's not a great place to be, right? So I got some actionable steps. So this is what I would say for actionable steps. Ask yourself, is this difficult? Ask yourself, is this difficult because it's valuable? If yes, you can push through. If no, consider quitting. Recognizing the dead ends. So ask yourself, is this improving with consistent effort? If no, quit and redirect your energy. But remember the word I just said, consistent effort. If you're not consistent at running slow or building your aerobic pace, if you're not consistent with that, can you answer that question honestly? That's something that I had to consider, okay? Now, evaluate your future potential. So ask, if I keep pushing, will I become one of the best? Ask yourself, if I keep pushing, will I see the results that I want? If yes, persist. If no, maybe switch plans. Now, mastering the art of quitting. Ask, quit fast if you're in a cul-de-sac, quit early if you spot a cliff, and quit intentionally to free up time with what matters. So if you're training for a marathon, you need to be asking yourself these questions because you got a long way to run and you can't waste time. Since October of last year, I feel like I've been in the dip. Actually, maybe even longer. I feel like I've been going through this long, slow slug of nothingness, no improvements. And this is where I was in my head for quite a while. And, losing motivation, doing my best to get out and do a run, but then not seeing the results that I want because I wasn't consistent enough to be able to evaluate whether or not I could see results or should I quit. And when you struggle with, I wrote some other notes on my paper here. So, and when you're dealing with weight loss or weight gain, and you're struggling to have that motivation to keep running, and when you are inconsistent and you're feeling like you have to start all over again, it's hard, right? It's very difficult. And so when I look at running, I look at, okay, how can I do this sustainably, right? If I'm going to be using heart rate training, there's a lot of these other methods I can be using, right? Zone 2 training, Varvan formula, Maffetone method, rate of perceived effort. Like there's a lot of things that I can use. It's in my tool belt, right? All these things will lead you to the same result. If you're consistent, you're disciplined, you have self-respect. These are big things that need to happen. But in a lot of cases, it doesn't. I have to celebrate the small wins. If I can get out for a run, I don't care how far, that's a win. If I'm running slow, even though I didn't want to run, that's a win. If I feel like I can't go for a run today, maybe that's a loss. Maybe I just chalk that up and say, hey, tomorrow's a new day. It's like a video game, right? I got 3 lives, breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? And maybe that's just where I am at. So you have to recognize a lot of these positions that you may be in. And recognizing a dip or a cul-de-sac, or a cliff for that matter, those can be important things. Here's the thing. Running slow can feel embarrassing for a lot of people, specifically if you've been a fast runner before. And so since January, when I started up again, I have been doing my best to get out and run at least 3 times a week, 4 if I can possibly do it. still going to the gym, doing that, which is great. And it's taken me 2 years to get to where I am today. And where I am today is a pretty good, amazing place because I haven't quit. I recognized that I can pursue what I want and I can get faster if I put in the time on my feet. Yes, running slow, of course, but whether it's 80-20, whether it's just aerobic base building, if you're consistent, you will see results. But being consistent can be hard for a lot of us. So I've been dealing with the hardest part of running, and that's why I'm sticking with it. Right? Yeah, it's hard. No one said it was going to be easy. Slowing down may be easy, but it may not be easy on your brain, right? You may be telling yourself different things, right? So for me, when I look at things and I go, about a month and a bit ago, I was running like this particular route in 1 hour. I think I ran like 7.1 kilometers, and that's what it is in miles. And now I'm running 8 point something, and this is what it is on miles, in the same amount of time. But yet my heart rate is much lower. I was able to run further in the same amount of time, and it took me 2 years to get there. But I did it because I was focused. I was disciplined, and I went out and I did the thing I had to do. So that to me is important. It's important for me to move forward. And if you want to be part of this journey, if you want to be here with me, I'm committed for the next 3 months to keep doing what I'm doing, to build that base, to get back to where I was before, and to be able to start running these longer races. I mean, yes, it's a race, but it's a race of one. Maybe many people there, but the only person I care about is me, and that's achieving what my goal is. That's what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to bring you along with me so that way you can see the results too. We're all in this together. We're all doing it for ourselves so we can be a better version of ourselves. I don't know what you guys feel. I mean, I don't know how you feel about all of this, but I would love to hear your comments down below. So let's keep the conversation going down there because, you know, if you like the videos, if you comment on the videos, and you watch the videos even to this point, it really does mean a lot to me because then more people will watch this video. I'm doing what I can. And yeah, I could have quit YouTube a long time ago, but I am committed to continuing moving forward. As hard as this thing is, I'm in the dip. I'm in the dip with running. I'm in the dip with my YouTube channel. I'm in the dip. But I'm consistent, and that means that I can see a result moving forward, and that's why I am pushing through the dip to get to where I need to go. And I know you can do it as well if you're struggling. It's like I always say, get out and run. See you on the next one.